Our next guest is also known as the effed up entrepreneur. He hails from down under, Melbourne, Australia. He has several businesses in the construction industry and he's recently opened a cocktail bar. Please welcome Miles Williamsz.
Good morning, and thank you for the warm welcome. Before I begin, can I let you know this is my first visit to South Africa? I've been here now a little over 36 hours, and having been well and truly briefed on the risks and my own safety, I have been humbled to meet the people I have between airport, hotel and this arena. You've been genuinely interested, pleasant, welcoming, and with a very real aura of peace, hope and success. If this small sampling is indicative of the wider community, then God bless South Africa. As an entrepreneur, it's important that I know my strengths and weaknesses. My strength is in writing, my weakness is in speaking. So if you'll please allow me to read the story. I call it the effed up entrepreneur. It's a snapshot of my journey over the last 30 odd years, from regular to responsible guy, from broke to business owner, and many places in between. The F is not what you may think. It's about the feelings, the stages I went through to get to the point of my journey I'm at right now. And the journey is by no means over. When I began my entrepreneurial trek, I was young and foolish. I failed in my first endeavours and found myself floundering until I found the fire that became my focus. This brought fulfilment, but not without fear and frustration and me needing to develop fortitude, to lead with an iron fist, to now be navigating toward financial freedom with a solid plan and a vision for the future. It's my story, which I will unashamedly read to you, and possibly many an entrepreneur's story. Let me explain. I'm no Richard Branson or Elon Musk, Vanilla Rice, or even a JT Fox, but I, like many entrepreneurs, have a burning desire to run my own race, sow my own seeds, and make my mark on the world. But to think this doesn't come at a hefty price is being seriously naive. Bear with me. Despite my parents' best attempts to convince me otherwise, I left school early and took a job as an apprentice cabinet maker. Not the worst decision one could make, but clearly not their wish. I completed my tenure, and as a young man, I began travelling the world with a backpack. No plan, no money, no end goal. Having travelled through some of Europe, I found myself in the USA. And in what seemed like a whirlwind, I was married, I had a young family, I started a joinery business, and had no idea of how all this had happened or where it was all going. It was madness. Working around the clock, a failing relationship, no time with my kids, no contact with my friends or family back in Australia, no business plan at all, no money in the bank. It was a slippery slope, and I chose to close up shop and head back to Australia with my family in tow. At the age of 29, I moved back in with my parents. I divorced, I engaged in a custody battle, I relented, and my children went back to California. I stayed in Australia. I took up a regular job. I had debts to pay. It wasn't a pleasant time. I was footloose but floundering, far from being fancy-free. I didn't know where to go or what to do. I had no coach, no advisor, no mentor, no vision. But my burning entrepreneurial desire deep inside hadn't been extinguished. Within every entrepreneur is a small flame which flickers. It's the flame which carries ideas and dreams. And when the environment is right, a flashpoint occurs and a raging fire ensues. This was my moment. I went back to my roots as a joiner. I found a niche in the market. As the apartment boom began to take hold of Melbourne, My idea was to create an installation service which could install joinery for the many joinery manufacturers who are swamped by a buoyant and growing market. I created a business plan, sought advice, and equipped myself with what I could afford: a van and the necessary tools of trade. I had a solid foundation, but had to work within my means. I began. Myself in a van, then 2 men in a van, then 4 men in 2 vans. And before long, I had a crew of 40 plus joinery installers working in and around Melbourne doing fit-outs. The business continued its success in the commercial sector and expanded into the residential market and then the exhibition and event markets too. I moved my staff out of my home office and into a more purposeful facility. I hired more staff, found more customers, purchased more vehicles. My idea was working. Within a few short years, my business was growing, successful, profitable, but unknowingly vulnerable. I trusted the wrong person and suffered a significant financial loss. I soon realised I had a serious lack of process, system and structure. My business plan was not being reviewed and was outdated. I was working in the business, not on the business, and I was suffering the consequences. I had the wind knocked out of my sails, and it stopped me in my tracks. It was a monumental setback. I began to question my own ability. Having enjoyed the climb and the success of the journey to date, I was now at the bottom of the mountain again, looking up. Got to climb it again? Did I want to climb this again? Is it steeper than it was before? Is it even possible to climb? My fire had again been reduced to smouldering coals, and it could have been easy to completely snuff it out. But surrounding me was an amazing team, an equally amazing customer set, and some awesome history. So slowly but surely I fed those smouldering coals the oxygen they were starved, and the flames leapt up. The lessons learned were life-changing. Vision, mission, values, team and coaching. As I now know, some of the essential tools needed to build a successful business. I think we've lost one there. The need to lead became paramount. It didn't mean I had to do it all, but instead I had to share my vision and craft a plan that would surround me with quality people who wanted to be touched by the fire that burned within me. I had to step up, be learned, be accountable, be a role model, and create and direct the best team I could afford. Today, I surround myself with not only an amazing team of staff, but also some of the world's best coaches. JT Fox and his team, Jack DeLosa and the Entourage team, Aidan Parsons, my executive coach, and many associates who are succeeding in their respective business journeys. It's a fact, you do become the average of the people around you. Choose wisely. My work is by no means done. I'm not financially free, and I have no desire to hang up the gloves anytime soon. My current businesses generate an 8-figure rev, and now more than ever, with what I know today and with the team that I have and the knowledge I can now access, I'm driven to continue to develop and improve the businesses I have and the businesses I'm yet to have to achieve a 9-figure revenue. My life is good, it's comfortable, yet I'm fiercely focused on implementing systems and processes to drive greater success. I continue to push myself to be in the uncomfortable zone. It's where the most learning is accomplished. The future. What a concept. What is the future? Tomorrow? Next week? Next year? In a fast-changing world, a world that's becoming smaller, a world that's becoming more accessible and more tech, where big businesses fall and startups grow rapidly, my approach is to plan only for the next 12 to 24 months ahead, but be constantly speaking to my customers, analysing my market, knowing my numbers, and holding my team accountable. This allows me the ability for agility, to be able to read, understand, and change as the markets demand. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my story. It may be your story too. There is no moral, just an affirmation that the journey of an entrepreneur can be lonely and is rarely easy. In fact, the majority will fail. I began my business life at a time and in a place where words like startup, raising capital, pitch deck, and app didn't exist. But the principles and the desire did, and the learnings and awareness since have been 100-fold. Get a coach, create your own vision, implement your own values, have a realistic plan, seek guidance, build an awesome team, systemize and speak to your customers often. There are no guarantees, but doing all this will give you the best possible chance at success and the benefit of learning from my mistakes. I wish you all well in your journeys. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.